we're diving into a story that has just sent absolute shockwaves through Hollywood. It's the tragic deaths of the beloved director Rob Reiner and his wife, photographer Michelle Singer. So let's break down what we know about this heartbreaking case. I mean, the basic facts here are just stunning. The iconic director, the man behind so many classic films, and his wife, a really respected photographer, were found stabbed to death inside their own home. It's a deeply private tragedy that is now a major public investigation. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down for you. First, we'll cover the shocking discovery at the scene. Then, we'll get into the prime suspect and the stunning arrest. After that, we'll look at the investigators' checklist, what they have to do next. We'll also feel the impact on their community, and finally, look at the road ahead in what is still a very developing story. All right, so first up, let's talk about the scene itself. We're in Brentwood, a pretty wealthy part of Los Angeles, and this is where the story first begins to unfold. So, here's the initial report, the stuff we know for sure. The LAPD gets to the Reiner home around 3:30 in the afternoon for what they're calling a death investigation. And once inside, they discover Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer, both of them fatally stabbed. You know, what makes this so jarring is where it happened. Brentwood is this upscale, exclusive community. You see prominent security systems outside pretty much every home. It feels safe. So for a grisly double murder to happen here, it's the last thing anyone expects, and it's just completely shocked everyone. Okay, now we get to the part of the story that just turns everything on its head, a stunning development that makes this tragedy even more complex, the arrest of a suspect. And in a twist that is just absolutely gut-wrenching, sources confirmed that the couple's own son, Nick Reiner, was taken into police custody. Now, the LAPD was really tight-lipped about this at first, but this news, as you can imagine, quickly became the central focus of the entire investigation. $4 million. That's the bond amount that was set for Nick Reiner. It's a huge number. So what does a figure that high actually tell us about where this case might be headed? Well, according to ABC News analyst and former FBI agent Brad Garrett, that number speaks volumes. A bond set at $4 million suggests that the authorities believe they have a very, very strong case against the suspect. It's a signal of their confidence, and it reflects just how severe the court views the crime. So that leads us right into the investigation itself. You know, how do police go from having a suspect in custody to actually building a case for conviction? Well, they have a very specific checklist they need to follow. So the big question is, what's on the LAPD's to-do list right now? Getting a suspect is a huge first step, but building a case that will hold up in court, that takes some serious legwork. This is basically the playbook for investigators. First up, they have to physically place the suspect at the scene. They'll use everything: CCTV, security footage, phone records, you name it. Second, the weapon. Was the knife from the house itself, which could suggest a spontaneous act of passion, or was it brought to the scene, pointing more towards premeditation? Third, and this is the tough one, motive. Investigators have to dig deep into the family's relationships and history, which we know included past struggles with addiction, which we know Rob Reiner and his son had even made a film about together. And finally, they need to trace that first 911 call. Who made it? Analysts say it's not actually uncommon for a suspect to be the one to call in a case like this. But you know, beyond all the police work and the legal analysis, there's a real human cost here. Let's talk about the community, because they are just reeling from an unimaginable loss. From everything we're hearing, the Reiners were just adored. They were described as incredibly well-loved, always hosting people, just a central part of their community. So as the news started to spread, the reaction was pure devastation, total shock. And this wasn't just a loss for the neighborhood, it was a huge blow to Hollywood. Pretty soon after police secured the scene, some of Rob Reiner's closest friends and collaborators, people like Larry David and Billy Crystal, started showing up. It's just a testament to the incredible bonds he built over a 50-year career that really shaped American comedy. And that grief, you could literally see it. A reporter on the scene noted that Billy Crystal, who of course created the absolute classic When Harry Met Sally with Reiner, looked devastated, like he was about to cry. His reaction just says everything about the deep, personal loss people are feeling. So after all that, where do things stand right now? Let's take a look at the path forward and the huge questions that are still hanging over this entire case. And it is so important to remember, this story is still unfolding. We're getting new pieces of the puzzle almost by the hour, and the complete picture of what really happened inside that Brentwood home is definitely not clear yet. So, what's the next big thing to watch for? Well, all eyes are on the LAPD. They're expected to hold a press conference soon to give an official update and clarify the exact charges being filed against Nick Reiner. That is going to be a really crucial moment. And really, that leaves us with this final, haunting question. A suspect is in custody, the legal system will do its thing, but even if the who and the how are eventually proven in a court of law, the why of it all, that's something a courtroom can't answer. And maybe it's something we'll never truly understand.